Last year, you decided to allow Catholic priests to bless same-sex couples.
The world froze in shock when it was revealed that the Pope, of all people, left his fortune to a famous celebrity. Alexandra Rae, a Hollywood star known for her bold movies, was named the only heir. Whispers of confidential meetings and unspoken promises have left everyone searching for answers. How could a religious leader and a film icon share such a close, hidden tie? Let us uncover the truth behind this baffling decision that caused the Vatican to order a detention against the Pope. A star's mission inspired by the Pope's vision. For someone like the Pope, who preached simplicity and charity, the idea of a hidden fortune seemed out of character. He was a man known for his modesty, a leader who chose humble living quarters, worn-out shoes, and a life free from material indulgence. Yet, over the years, a surprising amount of wealth accumulated. Gifts from dignitaries, personal donations, and investments made on his behalf had quietly grown into a significant sum. Most assumed these resources would go to church initiatives or humanitarian causes. No one predicted they would end up in the hands of a Hollywood star. Before we delve into this, it's clear that the truth behind this decision is far more unexpected than anyone could have predicted, and this won't be the last revelation that stuns you. Alexandra Rae, known for her blockbuster roles and charity work, wasn't the name anyone expected to hear in this context. The world's curiosity turned into a frenzy. What linked her to the Pope? Was it a hidden family tie? A confidential conversion? Speculation ran wild, ranging from plausible theories to outright conspiracies. The truth, as it turned out, was surprisingly simple and heartfelt. Years ago, before he became the Pope, he was just a cardinal in Buenos Aires. Alexandra, then a struggling teenager on a charity trip, crossed paths with him at a community center. She was lost, grappling with personal challenges, and he offered her a listening ear and heartfelt advice. That encounter, though brief, stayed with her for life. Over the years, they kept in touch through letters and occasional phone calls. Their connection was one of mutual respect and shared values, not fame or religion. When the Pope's will was read, even Alexandra was stunned. She had no idea he would leave her such a responsibility. Initially, she questioned the validity of the will and even reached out to Vatican lawyers, convinced it had to be a mistake. But the decision was deliberate. The Pope had entrusted her with more than just money. He left her with a mission. Public reactions were mixed. Some applauded the Pope's choice, seeing it as a recognition of Alexandra's dedication to charitable causes. Others criticized it, questioning why a celebrity should inherit such a significant fortune. The Church faced its own internal debates, with some members expressing unease over the unconventional decision. Alexandra, for her part, handled the uproar with grace. She announced that the inheritance would not be used for personal gain. Instead, she launched a global initiative called the Light of Hope Foundation. The foundation focused on the very issues the Pope had championed during his life: poverty, education, and healthcare. Through her efforts, the Pope's wealth began to transform communities worldwide. At the foundation's launch event, Alexandra shared a heartfelt message. "This isn't about me," she said. "This is about carrying forward his vision of a better world." Her words resonated, drawing support from all corners: political leaders, fellow celebrities, and everyday people. Donations poured in, amplifying the foundation's reach. A letter from the Pope, written in his own hand, was included in the will. It was addressed to Alexandra, but later shared publicly. In it, he wrote, "You have always been a light to those around you. Use this not as a gift, but as a tool for change. True wealth lies in giving, not keeping." The letter silenced many critics, revealing the deep trust and faith he had in her. The projects funded by the foundation quickly made an impact. Schools were built in underprivileged areas, medical clinics opened their doors, and countless lives were uplifted. Alexandra's efforts honored the Pope's legacy, proving that his unconventional choice had been the right one. Despite the initial shock, the world began to see the beauty in the story. It wasn't just about wealth or fame. It was about the ripple effect of kindness and the power of unlikely connections. Alexandra often reflected on the Pope's influence, crediting him with shaping her outlook on life. "He showed me that true greatness comes from serving others," she said in an interview. The Pope's decision continues to spark conversations about generosity, responsibility, and faith. His fortune, now fueling a wave of global change, serves as a reminder that even the most unexpected choices can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Alexandra Rae may have inherited his wealth, but more importantly, she inherited his vision for a better world, one act of kindness at a time. Alexandra's work showed the Pope's vision in action, but it makes you think about how his early life shaped the person he became. The early life of Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, now known as Pope Francis, was born on December 17, 1936, in Buenos Aires, Argentina. His family, Italian immigrants, lived modestly, and Jorge was the eldest of 5 siblings. His father, Mario, worked as an accountant for the railways, while his mother, Regina, dedicated herself to raising the children and managing their home. Growing up in the Flores neighborhood, Jorge's childhood was far from luxurious, but it gave him a grounded perspective on life that stayed with him. These early years built the foundation for the values that would later define his life. As a boy, Jorge attended public school in Buenos Aires, where he showed an interest in learning but lived like most other kids in his neighborhood. At 12, he joined the Salesian College, a place that exposed him to literature and psychology, subjects that captured his attention. After finishing school, he decided to study to become a chemical technician, a choice heavily influenced by his mother's desire for him to have a stable career. This path was practical and showed the early influence of his family's values on his decisions. However, it wasn't long before his life took a different direction. Once he earned his degree, Jorge worked briefly in the food processing industry. It was a steady job, but something deeper was stirring inside him. At 21, he made a life-changing decision to pursue a calling in faith. In 1958, he entered the seminary and joined the Society of Jesus, known as the Jesuits. This was no small step. It was the beginning of a path that would demand years of study, discipline, and service. Jorge's formation as a Jesuit started in the Jesuit community of Villa Barilari in San Miguel. He studied humanities in Santiago, Chile, before returning to Argentina to focus on philosophy at the Colegio of San Jose in San Miguel. During this period, he also taught literature and psychology, sharing his growing knowledge and passion for learning with students. Teaching became a way for Jorge to connect with others while deepening his own understanding of the world. In 1967, Jorge began studying theology, a subject that would shape his future in the church. By December 13, 1969, he was ordained as a priest, marking the start of his full commitment to serving others. The Jesuit principles of humility, service, and education were central to his life, and he took on various roles that reflected these values. In 1973, Jorge made his perpetual vows in the Society of Jesus and became the provincial superior of the Jesuits in Argentina. This was a significant leadership role, especially during a time when Argentina was grappling with political unrest and a military dictatorship. Jorge's ability to lead during such a turbulent period showed his resilience and dedication to both his faith and his people. After his tenure as provincial superior, Jorge continued his theological studies, even traveling to Germany to pursue a doctoral degree. Although he didn't finish the degree, the experience broadened his perspective on the church and the world. Back in Argentina, he served as a spiritual director and confessor in Cordoba, offering guidance to those seeking clarity and purpose in their lives. Jorge's simple childhood and strong beliefs helped him grow into a leader who changed the church and inspired so many people. From archbishop to the papal throne. In 1992, Jorge's role in the church expanded further when he was consecrated as an auxiliary bishop of Buenos Aires. 5 years later, he became the coadjutor archbishop, and by 1998, he was the Archbishop of Buenos Aires. In this role, Jorge's commitment to humility and simplicity became even more apparent. He chose to live in a modest apartment instead of the opulent residence meant for an archbishop. He often used public transportation, reflecting his belief in staying close to ordinary people. As archbishop, Jorge focused on outreach to the poor. He frequently visited the slums of Buenos Aires, offering comfort and support to those who needed it most. His emphasis on social justice and equality resonated deeply with many people, making him a prominent and respected figure in the Argentine church. His work wasn't about gaining power, but about genuinely helping those who were often overlooked. In 2001, Pope John Paul II elevated Jorge to the rank of cardinal. This new role did not change his approach to leadership. He remained focused on humility, advocating for the marginalized, and promoting dialogue within the church. Jorge's leadership style was about bringing people together and finding common ground, qualities that made him stand out among his peers. Throughout his career, Jorge's spiritual life was deeply influenced by the Virgin Mary and Saint Therese of Lisieux. He often included images of Saint Therese in his letters, finding inspiration in her simple and trusting approach to faith. These devotions reflected Jorge's own belief in the power of humility and grace. Everything changed in March 2013. Following the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI, a conclave was called to elect a new pope. On March 13th, Jorge Mario Bergoglio was elected as the 266th Pope of the Catholic Church, choosing the name Francis in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi. His election was groundbreaking. He was the first Pope from the Americas, the first from the Southern Hemisphere, and the first Jesuit to hold the position. Pope Francis's early life and Jesuit formation shaped his approach to the papacy. He brought with him a focus on humility, service, and social justice, emphasizing the Church's role in helping the poor and addressing global issues. From the start, his choices reflected a break from tradition. For example, he chose to live in the Domus Sanctae Marthae guest house instead of the luxurious papal apartments. This decision was a clear message that his leadership would prioritize simplicity and accessibility. As Pope, Francis became a vocal advocate for action on climate change, urging the world to protect the environment. His encyclical Laudato Si called for a collective effort to address the ecological crisis, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all life. This focus on environmental stewardship was a reflection of his belief in caring for creation as a moral responsibility. Pope Francis also spoke out against economic inequality and the culture of waste that he believed was harming society. He called for an economy that served everyone, especially the most vulnerable, and frequently highlighted the dignity of each person. His messages of mercy and compassion were central to initiatives like the Jubilee Year of Mercy, which encouraged forgiveness and reconciliation. The experiences that shaped Jorge Mario Bergoglio's early years were evident in his leadership as Pope Francis. His humility, commitment to social justice, and dedication to fostering dialogue have made him a transformative figure in the Church. Whether addressing issues of poverty, inequality, or the environment, his actions and words continue to inspire people worldwide to strive for a more just and compassionate world. From becoming Pope to leading in new ways, Jorge's story now takes us back to how the Church began and grew over time. The long road of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church's story goes back thousands of years, starting with Jesus Christ. Jesus, who lived in the first century, is believed to have chosen Peter, one of his close followers, to lead his group of disciples. This decision laid the foundation for what became the Church's leadership, with Peter seen as the first pope. From those early days, the Church began building its identity, but the path was anything but easy. After Jesus' death and what believers call his resurrection, his followers started spreading his teachings far and wide, especially within the Roman Empire. Early Christians faced a lot of challenges. They were misunderstood, often seen as a strange group, and even faced violent persecution. Yet against all odds, this small movement grew, drawing people from different walks of life and slowly becoming a force to be reckoned with. Things took a dramatic turn in the year 313 when Emperor Constantine issued the Edict of Milan. This declaration allowed Christians to practice their faith freely within the Roman Empire. It was a game changer. A few decades later, in 380, Emperor Theodosius declared Christianity the empire's official religion. From being an underground movement to becoming a central part of society, the Church's influence grew rapidly. As the Church expanded, it created a system to keep everything organized. Bishops were put in charge of local groups of believers, but the Bishop of Rome, the Pope, had the highest authority. This structure helped keep the Church's teachings consistent as it reached different regions. But with growth came debates, especially about what Christians should believe. These disagreements led to important meetings called councils. One of the most notable was the Council of Nicaea in the year 325. At this gathering, leaders discussed the nature of Jesus and agreed on a shared statement of faith called the Nicene Creed. This creed is still used by many Christians today and remains a cornerstone of their beliefs. During the early Middle Ages, the Church stepped in as a stabilizing force while much of Europe faced chaos. Monasteries became safe spaces for learning, where monks worked hard to copy important books and study ancient texts. At the same time, missionaries worked tirelessly to spread Christianity to new parts of Europe. Slowly but surely, the Church's presence became undeniable. However, not everything was smooth sailing. In the year 1054, a huge split happened within Christianity. The Western Church, based in Rome, and the Eastern Church, centered in Constantinople, went their separate ways. This split, called the East-West Schism, created the Roman Catholic Church in the West and the Eastern Orthodox Church in the East. The reasons for this division included disagreements over theology, worship practices, and political struggles. The medieval period also saw the Church take on a more militant role with the Crusades. These were military campaigns aimed at taking back Jerusalem and other sacred sites in the Middle East from Muslim control. While these campaigns shaped the politics and culture of the time, they also caused lasting tensions between different religious groups. The Crusades remain a controversial chapter in the Church's history. As the centuries passed, people began to question certain church practices. By the 16th century, calls for reform grew louder. Martin Luther and other figures challenged the Church, pointing out issues like the selling of indulgences and other crimes. This movement, known as the Protestant Reformation, led to the creation of new Christian denominations that broke away from the Catholic Church. In response, the Catholic Church made big changes. The Council of Trent, which met between 1545 and 1563, worked to address the problems raised by the Reformation. This council clarified church teachings, reformed how priests were trained, and tackled crimes. This period, called the Counter-Reformation, was all about strengthening the Church and countering the spread of Protestant ideas. Fast forward to the 19th and 20th centuries, and the Church faced new challenges in a rapidly changing world. The First Vatican Council, held in 1869, focused on the Church's authority and introduced the idea of papal infallibility. This teaching says the Pope is free from error when making official declarations about faith and morals under specific conditions. It was a bold move that sparked debate even within the Church. The 20th century brought even more change. The Second Vatican Council, held in the 1960s, aimed to make the Church more relevant to modern times. Reforms included using local languages in worship instead of Latin, encouraging better relationships with other Christian groups, and emphasizing the role of everyday believers in the Church's mission. These changes made the Church feel more accessible to many people. Throughout its history, the Catholic Church has had a big impact on culture and the arts. It commissions stunning works of art, from Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel to countless cathedrals that still inspire awe today. The Church also played a role in education, founding universities and schools around the world that continue to shape societies. But not all parts of the Church's story are inspiring. In recent decades, the Church has faced tough questions about its handling of past abuses and its ability to adapt to changing societal values. These issues have shaken the faith of some followers while pushing the Church to confront its shortcomings. Despite these challenges, the Catholic Church remains one of the most influential religious institutions in the world. The story of the Catholic Church is one of resilience and transformation. From its beginnings with a small group of Jesus' followers to its global presence today, the Church has navigated countless challenges. Whether through reforms, artistic achievements, or missionary work, it has left an undeniable mark on history. Yet its ability to adapt and remain relevant in an ever-changing world continues to be tested. Is the Pope's decision to leave his fortune to Alexandra Rae a shocking coincidence? Or does it reveal a hidden connection between faith and fame that we've yet to uncover? Tell us what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.